Hi, and you're now with the Forerunner Chronicles. After having a very intimate discussion the other night with a gentleman whose wife is actually undergoing chemotherapy at this time, I realized the absolute necessity of producing this particular video. Now, you may not know it, but the citizens of the United States of America are under attack. And this attack is not being initiated by Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden, as if we were actually under attack by Osama bin Laden in the very first place. But this attack is being initiated by none other than our very own quote-unquote healthcare institutions, quote-unquote healthcare system. Now, in JAMA, which is the Journal of American Medical Association, we read this article. According to information we have received, a statistical study of hospitalized deaths in the U.S. conducted at the University of Toronto revealed that pharmaceutical drugs kill more people every year than are killed in traffic accidents. The study is said to show that more than 2 million American hospitalized patients suffered a serious adverse drug reaction, which is an ADR, within the 12-month period of the study, and of these over 100,000 died as a result. The researchers found that over 75% of these ADRs were dose-dependent, which suggests that they were due to the inherent toxicity of the drugs rather than to allergic reactions. The researchers concluded that ADRs are now the fourth leading cause of death in the United States of America after heart disease, cancer, and stroke. Wow. Now, in another article entitled Prescription Drug Deaths Soar, we read this. The CDC reports that from 1999 to 2004, unintentional poisoning, death from prescription drugs, sleeping pills, antidepressants, and tranquilizers grew 84% to 20,950 deaths, overtaking cocaine and heroin combined as the leading cause of lethal overdose. The FDA compiled reports from 1998 to 2005 and finds that dangerous side effects and deaths from prescription and over-the-counter medications almost tripled to nearly 90,000 incidents. According to the Journal of American Medical Association, in 1998, a report finds that prescription drugs killed about 106,000 Americans each year. That's 3 times as many as are killed by automobiles, making prescription drug deaths the fourth leading killer after heart disease, cancer, and stroke. Now, keep in mind that that's a study from 1998. But take a look at this study. This article is taken from Natural News, entitled Prescription Drug Deaths Skyrocket 68% over 5 years as Americans swallow more pills. It tells us there that poisoning from prescription drugs has risen to become the second largest cause of unintentional deaths in the United States, according to the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Mike Adams, who is a consumer health advocate, has these statements to make. The entire drug industry, including the monopolistic drug giants and their FDA co-conspirator, has clearly become the single greatest threat to the health and safety of the American people. And yet the FDA continues to push more drugs on more Americans than ever before, all while pretending these drugs are safe and effective when in reality they are neither. Today's pharmaceutical industry is a massive fraud being perpetrated against the American people, propped up by illegal trade practices, monopolistic behavior, and outright criminal behavior on the part of the FDA. In short, what we are looking at is a crime cartel of massive proportions, being instigated by the pharmaceutical industries and being helped along by none other than the FDA, who is supposed to be protecting us. But the Bible has already foretold these events. In the book of Revelations, chapter 18, starting at verse 23, it talks about Babylon, the great city of Babylon, which is a symbol used in Bible prophecy to point to the papacy, the Roman Catholic Church hierarchy, who at the head of which is the Pope. And here we are told in Revelations chapter 18, starting at verse 23, that, "For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and of the saints, and of all that were slain upon the earth." Here the Bible is letting us know in these two texts of scripture that the merchants, who are the great men of the earth, are peddling the sorceries of the Vatican led out by the Pope. And these sorceries are deceiving the nations and are actually slaying the inhabitants of the earth, meaning they're murdering the inhabitants of the earth. Now that word sorcery comes from the root word, well, it comes from rather the Greek root word pharmakeia. Pharmakeia means witchcraft, the administrating of drugs, poisoning. Are you beginning to get the picture here? But interestingly enough, the word pharmacy, which we get the word pharmaceuticals from, also comes from the root Greek word pharmakeia, which once again means witchcraft, the administrating of drugs, poisoning. Are you getting the point here? In other words, in Revelation chapter 18, starting at verse 23, the Bible is letting us know in no uncertain terms that these industrial giants, the pharmaceutical industry giants and their cohorts, are actually the drug pushers for the papacy, and these drugs are deceiving the masses by making us docile, and they also are slaying, murdering the inhabitants of the earth. The pharmaceutical industry being led out by the papacy. And Avro Manhattan, which was a very avid author and wrote much on the Vatican, reveals the fact in his book Vatican Billions that the papacy has much to do with the pharmaceutical industry and how they are making billions off of it. 40%, matter of fact, more than 40% of the citizens of the United States of America from age 12 and up are on prescription drugs at this time. This is a great crime being perpetrated against the citizens of this country, and the Bible already foretold this, and that the Vatican is all behind it. In the next few scenes you're about to behold, you will see some real-life testimonies from some individuals that are in the healthcare arena, and from some individuals who have actually resigned their positions from the FDA due to the criminal actions of that organization. And they will say in no uncertain terms that the FDA is not working in the benefit of the citizens of the United States of America, or for any people on the face of this globe for that matter. And in between these testimonies, I'll be reading some excerpts from this book that you see on the screen right now called The Natural Remedies Encyclopedia. This book is awesome because it teaches you how you can use the simple agents from nature to restore and maintain the health of the human body, and they have no side effects. So pay close attention to what you're about to see, because as always, the truth is the truth.